Hello, it's Keith Walker speaking here with Associate Professor Willie Shear. This little clip is just for students in terms of the group work which is coming up. You need to get into groups. The deadline for the groups closing off is very close. It's less than 5 or 6 days. Willie will confirm exactly when that deadline date is happening, because here's the task of those that aren't in groups of putting people into groups. So that's the thing that will happen. If you haven't found a group or logged into a group, you'll be put into a group and that'll be it. Now what we want you to do when you get into the groups, we'd like you to introduce yourself to each other. Now you may already know everybody in the group, but those of us outside won't have know as much about you or your background. Now when I say introduce yourself, just in the general sense, just say my name is XYZ and I'm currently part-time employed in the casually in the construction industry. I might be working on a project somewhere, or whatever the situation may be. You may be a full student. If you do that, that just gives you the other members of the group a chance to see how much experience you might have. That helps create the group bonding. If you're all in the same project together, having to create a strategic plan, you can relate to that. No bad language, no slang. Make it professional. This is what we're now moving into, professional communication. The other advantage of doing that too, it also gets you used to using the buttons and the various controls inside Blackboard. So there's no marks associated with this, but it does have a very important task. I know groups that talk amongst themselves produce better results. If you've been reading the textbooks, you'll also appreciate that should be true. And it also helps Willie and I if unfortunately a group falls over. That may or may not happen. Generally something goes wrong somewhere with some group because of circumstances which none of us can foresee. If we can just look into the group's activities in their Blackboard environment, then we can form an opinion as to how helpful or how active a particular student may or may not have been, and then it helps us with the conclusion of whether we should or shouldn't involve some other strategy for marking or assessing that group. I will put up another video a little later on about the strategic plan. You'll get to see that a little later on, closer to the date of having to do it. I'll pass over to Willie now.
Okay, thanks Keith. Look, I just wanted to say a couple of things about the groups. I did announce that you have the facilities to self-enroll yourself in groups. So if you haven't done that yet, please do so. There's a set of groups for students in Australia and a separate set for students in Singapore. Approximately half the class is in Singapore this year. That's the first time we've had such a large cohort there. So we've found from previous years that, although Keith and I might like to encourage you to all work together, that doesn't seem practical. So we've kept the Singapore students together, and students that are either based in Callaghan or as our distance learning students together as a separate group. So please enroll yourselves in groups. Secondly, download, if you're going to be off campus, download Arousal and please get Arousal running. If you leave it to the last moment, it can be a little bit tricky, so please don't leave it to the last moment. Try and get Arousal running and working. There's instructions which you have to follow to the letter if you're going to get it running. While you're at it, you'll find some documents there that'll prepare you for the assessment 2, which Keith's going to be speaking about, your strategic plan. But you'll find some documents there about the background to the company that you're going to inherit. So have a look at that if you've got the time now as well. It'll prevent a bit of a rush later. That's all I wanted to say at this stage.
Thanks, Willie. That's it. Just what we're saying. This is the group activities coming up. The deadline's very close. Get yourselves organised and use your group. Talk to each other and introduce yourself to each other, because that's the work environment that you as students will be going into the future. You'll be working all around the planet in diverse groups. This is part of the practice that we want you to have of working inside a group here. It's a safe environment. You can do it. You can practice. That sort of thing. So please avail yourself of it. You'll find it a valuable learning experience. And that's all I have to say about the groups.
Yep.
Thank you, Willie.
Okay.
Good luck, students.
Cheers, guys.